So thank you all for being with us today for this presentation of the Men for Winter 2025 Fashion Week Report. So, sorry. My name is Noémie Voyer. I'm the Fashion Curation Manager and Head of Fashion at Heuritech.
Hi everyone, my name is Agata Kupriyanyuk and I am the Senior Fashion Analyst at Heuritech.
And hello everyone, I am Frida and I work as a fashion analyst at Heuritech. I will today, together with both Noémie and Agata, guide you through this webinar. But first, I would like to ask you, Noémie, to briefly explain what Heuritech does.
Yes, for sure. So basically, what do we do at Heuritech? So we quantify and we forecast trends adoptions on social media. We do it per geo-zone, per age, and per fashion level. So concretely, how do we do it? So first, we start by defining a consumer funnel. So we have to segment it by fashion level. So we have edgy, trendy, and mainstream. Second, we identify trends with our AI modules. So we are able to recognize more than 2K fashion attributes among millions of images. Once we have that, then we predict the evolutions of trends with our forecasting algorithm. So we are able to predict at plus 12 and plus 24 months. So finally, we plug all these insights and more into our platform, and we also leverage these insights into tailor-made reports. So today we're going to compare this consumer data and forecast on Fashion Week 2025 menswear. So as we are going to compare this data, we're going to use the scope of Europe and men. So the theme of this season is the rise of personal style. We saw last season that there was a huge wave of quiet luxury, and it influences lots of the consumer habits. So thanks to this timeless and zero default aesthetic, consumers now are embracing a new minimalism where they are looking for good quality, versatility, and longevity at the core of the fashion. But yet, we can clearly see that consumers and brands are already proposing something new, like a signal of a shift in mentality. We have observed in the shows, but also on social media, that now there is more room for personal interpretation. So basically, we are moving away from all the core aesthetics that were going out of fashion in the blink of an eye. But also, we know that the fashion industry has been obsessed with all the core aesthetics for defining the next aesthetic of the season. So, Agatha, how did you observe this shift in fashion shows?
Yeah, so menswear historically has been less influenced by micro-threads and cores, but still we've seen a lot. Gorpcore, old money, preppy style, starboy, eclectic grandma, you name it, we've seen a lot. But in Fall Winter 25, we see brands embracing their DNA and truly celebrating their consumers. And with that, I believe that designers invite us to have or to champion the personal style again. And, you know, in the industry, we always discuss sustainability and we are always focusing on the environmental perspective, which of course is crucial, but the cores and the aesthetics have been proven as unsustainable, not only for the planet, but also for consumer spending and time that you need to, you know, invest to always stay on top on these TikTok trends that pop up every day. And I would say that consumers are simply tired and fed up. So we do believe that we will see the trends being adopted in various and unique ways, and more people dress the way they want to dress, the way they make them feel good. So for brands, the key is to truly understand their clients and get to know them and what they are looking for. So today, and with our Fashion Week report, we want to show you how you can incorporate the runway trends into your personal style whenever speaking from a brand or consumer perspective.
So the answer to this course trend and the kind of cosplay looks that it shows is personal style, right? So that means that being unafraid of liking what you like, even though it's not trendy or popular. So having that in mind, what are the key trends of this season?
So for our report, we analyzed runways from main fashion capitals. And in the full report, you can find insights for both Milan and Paris. But today we will have a detailed look at Italian runways. So we've seen beautiful textures and heritage patterns that took center stage in Milan. For the last few months, and with more than 100% growth versus fall winter 24, it's finally here. So designers like Zegna went with more classic approach with corduroy suits and tailoring, while Jordan Luca styled corduroy trousers with a bomber jacket for that more relaxed look. In terms of prints, the standout was checked in various patterns with astonishing 10% of runway share. And while we've seen many classic iterations of black and white or gray, plaid colorful iterations like the one you can see from Prada at the bottom of the slide. And another fabric that was widely visible was velvet, and notably velvet outerwear. And who is better to bring back this heritage fabric than classic Italian designers? So with Dolce & Gabbana going for velvet blazers and Giorgio Armani for a more relaxed boxy jackets in rich, luxurious burgundy.
And the city spotlights from Milan bring us right into the first theme of today's webinar. We will dive into this cinematic retro theme, which, as you will notice, showcases all the three standout trends from Milan. So this is a celebration of timeless fashion by combining elements of nostalgia from the 70s with a more fresh and new modern twist. This season, designers have really balanced with playful patterns together with a more sophisticated color palette and tailoring, which in turn leads to this style that feels both nostalgic and contemporary at the same time. And the inspiration for this is drawn from cinematic glamour and the golden age of Hollywood. And it really channels the elegance and charm of these classic movie stars while still being wearable for the modern day.
And Frida, we saw lots of vintage aesthetics last season, and I'm having in mind, the eclectic grandpa trend that we saw a lot on Instagram, and specifically for the Gen Z, and the fact that they are really into vintage shopping. So what would be the modern take on retro for this?
I would say that it's more about blending the everyday comfort with more high-end flair, and to use these pieces that are able to transition from casual rhythms of the daily life into more chic vibes. If, for example, you go to a bar downtown, and compared to the eclectic grandpa, this theme is more about vintage glamour and dressing up, but still without sacrificing this practicality. And it can literally be anything from a more bold look with wide leg pants to a more sleek look with tailored blazers in cool patterns. So each of these pieces executes this, like as mentioned, effortless sophistication while still embracing the retro style and the retro vibe of it. Regarding this theme, it features a color palette of burgundy, ochre yellow, and mocha brown. And these hues comes together and creates this flattering combination, and one that we have seen on the runway of brands like Amiri, Kenzo, and Blue Marble. And especially the pairing of vibrant yellow with warm brown really evokes this nostalgic 70s retro vibe, while the more earthy tones of brown in monochrome looks lends more to an elegant, grounded touch to the overall look.
And another question that we all know that Pantone released the color of the year, which is mocha mousse. So does that mean that we will have way more browns this season?
Yes. So On the runway this year, we saw different hues of brown that performed well according to our data, and they were featured on various items from various designers and in various hues as well. And according to our data, different colors of brown will experience a growth in the upcoming year and be the it color for 2025. And the runway confirms it as well. So blending different shades of brown and incorporating it into wardrobe basics will offer us a stylish alternative to the traditional use of black. We can basically say that brown is the new black.
Thank you.
Moving further to the fabrics, a signature fabric of the 70s, corduroy, is making a comeback in 2025. And customers are expected to adopt to this trend in fall/winter of 2025, with an estimated growth of +7%. Another star on the runway was velvet, which was spotted on everything from suits to jackets to trousers. So that's also something we can expect to see more of. Finally, tweed, which has a slightly different vibe compared to corduroy and velvet, since it's even more associated with classic and preppy style. However, it pairs well with the cinematic retro theme and its more elegant elements.
So on this slide, I see two negative data points, which can be surprising first, because we are surprised that trendy prints that we saw on the runways are not particularly the one adopted by consumers. Would you explain us that, please?
So I always find it interesting to see what is featured on the runway compared to how the actual consumer will adapt to these trends. In this case, speaking about check print, for example, it had a strong presence on the runway, especially we saw it a lot on baggy trousers and suits. And as you mentioned, according to Heuritech's data, this print sees a slight decrease. However, the big magnitude and high runway shares suggest that it still can be a relevant trend that is worth investing in.
Yes, because big magnitude means a big visibility. So this trend is here to stay then. Okay, so now let's talk about the key shapes.
Let's talk about the key shapes. We got the velvet jacket, and that is a piece that's been around for ages. On the runway, they were styled either with matching velvet trousers for a complete look or paired with more tailored pants. And the jackets itself ranged from bomber styles to oversized blazers with layering underneath to more fitted versions as well. And their versatility, whether you want to dress it up or down, makes them a standout wardrobe staple, and also one we can expect to see more of in 2025. We got the buckle belt denim pants. So when the looks themselves aren't really the standout, the accessories take center stage. And a focus on simplicity and more timeless style can bring a fresh twist by the way you accessorize them. So classic denims never really goes out of style, and the buckle belt denim pants are set to make a bigger impact in 2025 with a projected growth of +10%. And on the runway this season, they were often styled with tucked in tops to really highlight the belt. And both Oral-Lee and Dolce & Gabbana pair them with chunky sweaters tucked in that is really creating that waist-enhancing silhouette.
But yeah, we definitely see that styling is everything in this season. Because it's not that often that men are tucking their cardigans or sweaters into their pants, right? So it's interesting to see how styling tips are putting the light on accessories and how accessories are important for this season. So I'm curious to see the rest of the styling.
For sure. And we all know that fall/winter equals layering season, and the V-neck cardigan will be the favorite for it this season. And the modernity of this cardigan is that the V-neck is sharper and deeper than traditional styles, which gives this sleek and contemporary feel. And this fresh take adds an elevated edge and makes it perfect for both casual looks as seen from Color & Calvin, and more polished outfits as Emporio Armani, Hermes, and Segna. And when it comes to more accessories, so ties themselves aren't really a groundbreaking trend, but a noticeable increase in their visibility on the runway this season is definitely worth mentioning. And I think this shift signifies like a move away from the oversized casual retro streetwear aesthetic that has dominated in recent years. And it's not just about the ties themselves, but more the broader trend of incorporating elements of sophistication and timelessness into wardrobe, like into your wardrobe. For shoes, loafers as well has long time been celebrated as a versatile, timeless footwear option. And the rise in popularity is showing no signs of slowing down. In fact, it's projected that customers will wear it even more, with a projected growth of plus 40% during Q4 in 2025. And if we want to look closer into specific styles that are taking the spotlight, horsebit loafers and almond toe loafers have a projected growth of 35 and 44% respectively. Finally, the eyes, they never lie. And this year on the runway, they weren't hidden behind dark lenses, but instead showcased through sunglasses with a clear frame in yellow to brown hues. And I wonder if this, like, if it showcasing the eyes symbolizes a stronger connection to individuality and personality. I mean, instead of like covering them, they are now more visible and open for interactions.
Yes, actually, this is very interesting.
It is. So there we go, the starter pack of the cinematic retro theme.
So the overall key elements of the theme would be retro glamour and it's chic, yet practical, right? So now we will deep dive into the second theme of the season, but first, to better understand the context, I would like to give a small explanation. So in the heavy political, social context, we have observed the rise of personal style as some sort of rejection of classic or even old school values. So the result is the rise of what we call ironic dressing, or you can have heard of goofball aesthetics. And even in our platform, we had a team named Quirky Gentlemen that was focusing on a deliberate mockery of old money and even quiet luxuries seriousness. So we saw that elegance became the kind of a canvas for youth empowerment and creative rebellion, but also some playfulness. So Agatha, what about this season?
Exactly. So the playfulness that you just described is something that we spotted in our next theme. We called it teen spirit to refer to those beautiful teenage years where we just started to discover who we are, and the only thing we wanted was to express it for the world to see. So the theme is about that carefree way of dressing. And as we focus on personal style, designers propose different looks, from preppy, good student vibes at Kenzo, through that youthful playfulness at Kid Super, to rebellious teenager-like looks at Maison Mihara Yasuhira.
So what would be the key trends of this theme?
So it's not a surprise that key colors for the theme are fun and youthful. One of them is yellow, and for teen spirit, you can look into different shades, from light pastel with vanilla to more punchy pineapple. But ochre yellow, that Frida's already mentioned, works here as well. So again, it's not about the trend itself, it's about how you incorporate it into your style or into your collection. And while for now we see a small decline in yellow adoption for Q4 2025, we do forecast a rise in visibility for lighter shades of yellow as we move towards warmer months of spring 2026. And in terms of fabrics, we again can see a different approach to playful dressing with neat, seen on more preppy looks, rainproof that often was paired either with bold prints or fun colors, and then that dark denim for the more edgy looks. And for prints, two trends that truly stand out. First one is camouflage with high visibility on the runways, and forecasted 21% growth in Q4 is something everyone should have on their radar. And you can either have fun with this print like Kid Super, or you can go with the standard camo print as seen at Louis Vuitton. And we already spoke quite a lot about checked and versatility of this trend. And why you might think of plaid on school uniforms, this is not how you use that print in the team spirit. It's about that playfulness, again, whenever through shape, color, or styling.
So for the key shapes, Agatha, I see cardigans here as well. So could you explain how cardigans in the Teen Spirit theme would be different from the one from the retro cinematic?
Yeah, it's cardigans again. And this is another great example of how a good basic shape can be matched to your style. A simple change in a color, in a length, or a fit can make this universal garment unique to your brand or your aesthetic. And we forecasted 90% growth and biggest adoption in edgy audience. This is not something you want to miss out on. And then the same with baggy lifestyle pants. They are a consistent riser and a true staple for teen spirit. You can see that designers played with colors and prints that we've already highlighted. And through different styling, they managed to adopt the aesthetic, but still stayed true to the brand's DNA. And then layering again. And when it comes to layering with Teen Spirit, I like to think about it as a menswear version of back terms that we love to use to add that playful details and personal touch to our polished looks. So for Teen Spirit layering, you don't want to only focus on layering multiple tops, but look into layering bottoms as well. And as with back terms, there are endless possibilities. And then, of course, you want to add the character and the final touch with accessories like beanies or snow boots. But it's a printed scarf that took center stage for Teen Spirit as it allows for personalization, a topic that will be on everyone's lips in Fall/Winter 25.
Okay, so we've seen two themes among the four that we deciphered for this season. So thank you very much, Zara and Agatha. So we clearly see that there are some bridges between two opposite aesthetics and how the personal style is making them. So what are the other trends that you see during these shows?
So if there was one, it was fur. It made an appearance in collections from Prada, Dolce & Gabbana, or Ali, among other top designers. And this is a trend that we will see get adopted by more trendy and edgy consumers. In Q4 2025, so in fall winter, the fabric is estimated to increase plus 24%. On this slide, you're able to see a little sneak peek of our other themes, Eros Rewritten and Midnight Mechanic. And this is also considered being a star trend since it's featured in many different aesthetics, since it reflects how personal. I find it fascinating to see how the same material can take on unique characteristics depending on the wearer's approach. But I wonder if there's any specific kind of fur that we should pay attention to.
Yes, there is. And thanks to our computer vision technology, we are able to analyze more than 20,000 trends with a different granularity and pinpoint the ones that are worth investing into. So we look at Fall/Winter 25 runway share and relative growth to Fall/Winter 24. And by applying a weighted score, we were able to categorize the trends into emerging and established ones. And while you can see that overall fur is an established trend with high runway share, that's represented by the bubble size, long straight hair fur has seen the biggest growth of all fabrics and is one of this season's emerging trends in fabrics, next to velvet and corduroy that we already spoke before. So established trends like as those are the trends with steady high brand weight, and emerging trends should make a way into your seasonal collections, as this is in fall winter 25. And our next star trend embodies all that we talked about today, the joy of dressing and personalization. So in fall winter 25, deconstructed tailoring plays with proportions, exposed seam, and symmetry. So it's like tailoring with loose denim and bet on monochromatic looks that remain true to their house's DNA. So as you can see, deconstructed tailoring in fall winter 25 allows for endless personalization to usually classic tailoring.
Okay, so thank you very much, Agatha and Frida. So this makes the key takeaway season. So first of all, I would say first takeaway is that fashion is moving away from all the core aesthetics. Second is that personalization and individuality are adding this extra flavor after the influence of quiet luxury. And finally, that accessorization and styling are the key of this season. So this is it for this webinar. So thank you very much, Frida and Agatha, for all these insights and these reports. Thank you all for being with us for all this insight, and I hope that you find a lot of ideas for your collections. So if you are interested in booking a demo, you can already flash this QR code and be in touch with our teams. And for us, we want to thank you again for your attention, and we wish you a pleasant evening. So bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.